Hi, it's Jane, and today we are going to do a cluster stitch. And this is that cluster stitch here. It does make a beautiful pattern, and it's great for blankets, tops, scarves, you name it. You could use it for all kinds of things. That is the way that the back looks. But we are going to do this cluster stitch. Now, you need a number. This has a multiple. Gotta pick up my hook now. Maybe I'll just use the other hook. This has a multiple of 3 plus 2, which means you are going to have to chain 3 for each cluster with an additional 2 at the end. So I am going to chain 11 for this. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. And the foundation row is basically the same for this. You're going to pick up in the bumps all 11 stitches. Now, where we differ on this one is we're going to actually start straight into the pattern, but you could actually do a couple of rows and then, of your basic stitches, couple of simple stitches, simple rows or purls or knits, to give you a little bit of a binding row. But the actual stitch begins on the return pass for the way that I've set this up. Regardless of whether you've done several rows before so that you have a slight border before you get into your pattern, you will pick up your stitches in that normal fashion, and then you will begin the pattern on the return pass. And that begins with a chain 2, 1, 2, yarn over, pull through the next 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, chain 2, yarn over, pull through the next 4, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Again, chain 2, yarn over, pull through the next 4, 3, 4, until you have 2 stitches on the end. Now, when you get to the 2 stitches on the end, you are going to chain 1, then yarn over, pull through 2. That is the big difference in the way that the return pass is. That return pass is going to stay the same for every single row. Now, for the second row and consecutive rows, you're going to look here and you're going to see that you have what's called a full chain here. You have 2 full chains there. Hope that you can see that. There's only 1 full chain in the first one. Then there are 2 full chains in the next cluster. So what you're going to do is pull up a loop out of that first full chain, and then you will go into the top of the cluster, which is that back bump, pull up a stitch, then you will skip to the next 2 and you will pull up a stitch into each of those next full stitches. There's 1, 2, and then again in the top of the cluster, pull up a stitch, then again here, going to pull up those 2 stitches and your cluster. Now you only have one full stitch here, so you're going to pull up a full stitch here and then go into your last two on the bar like normal. So again, your return pass is chain 2, yarn over, pull through 4, chain 2, yarn over, pull through 4, chain 2, yarn over, pull through 4. You have 2 loops left on your hook, so you will chain 1, yarn over, pull through the 2. And again, it's just a repeat of that pattern all the way along. You only have one full stitch, so you pull up a stitch, go onto the top of the cluster, pull up the stitch. Next one, you have 2 full stitches, so you'll pull up a loop in those 2 stitches and in the top of the cluster again. And you'll just repeat that across until you get to that last cluster. And once we've got it finished, then we will pull up a stitch into this next stitch here and then through the last 2 here. Then it's chain 2, turn pass, yarn over, pull through 4, chain 2, yarn over, pull through 4, and you're creating these beautiful little clusters. Chain 2, yarn over, pull through 4, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And you're just going to continue to repeat that. And thank you, Kitty. Let me have my yarn. We'll do another row again. So we're going to go into this full stitch here, full chain stitch, pull up a loop, go into the top of the cluster. I pulled those kind of tight, so pull up a stitch. The next 2 full chains will pull up a stitch, then into the top of the cluster. Next full chains will pull up a loop, then into the cluster, then into this chain here, and then into the last 2 as normal. Chain 2, yarn over, pull through 4, chain 2, yarn over, pull through 4, chain 2, yarn over, pull through 4, chain 1, yarn over, pull through 2. And there is your cluster stitch there. I'm going to show you how to bind off. Bind off is a little bit different because you're basically going to do the same. You're going to work it in pattern. And when I say pattern is, you want to look for those full, chain stitches. Pull up your stitch, slip stitch, go into the top, pull up a loop, slip it through. Then you'll go through the next 2 of your chain. And of course the top. And this is what it means when they tell you to bind off in pattern. And there you have it. That is your pattern. I hope you'll give this a try. I enjoy doing this stitch. I am working on creating a blanket with a different type of border around the edges. So I'm having fun playing with it. And that's what it is when you are learning to create patterns, is just getting out there and playing with it, seeing what works. So yeah, I hope you will, like I said, give it a try. In the meantime, I'll see you again next week. Everybody have a great week. Bye for now.